I call the meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All is in favor, or any discussion? All is in favor? Celine?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dave Dempsey? Dave
He's on
Dempsey?
mute.
Okay. David Brohl?
Aye.
Okay. David Dempsey, you back with us yet?
Can't hear you.
I
You're
thought
on
I
mute.
heard something. He's ducking in and
Hear
out.
me now?
Yes, I
we
can
can
hear you.
now.
Are you okay
All
with
right.
starting the meeting?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
I got to
All
get
right.
a cord. My phone's dying. I'm going to get a cord. Wait, hold
Don't
on.
worry. I got about a 2 or 3 minute spiel that I have to read. So
All right, go
you
ahead.
guys can take a nap right now. Script for remotely conducting open meetings. Recreation meeting. Date of the meeting is Monday,
31st.
August 31st. Time is 6:04 p.m. and we're open the Recreation Committee meeting. As preliminary matter, this is Mike Volpone, Chairman of the Recreation Committee. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Board members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. David Brohl,
Affirmative.
David Dempsey,
Affirmative.
Celine Muldowney,
Affirmative.
Mark Sand,
Affirmative.
Alicia Greco, Select Woman. We lost you.
There she is.
So you back?
Thumbs up.
Are you okay? She's not. She can play one. Anticipated guest speakers on the agenda. We actually had a couple, and I'm not quite sure if they're actually showing up now, and I'll explain in a minute. Good evening. Today is August 31st, and an open meeting for the I apologize. Newbury Recreation. I've been doing two things today. Newbury Recreation Committee, which is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the opening meeting law to have all meetings in a public accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonably public access is afforded so the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment if they join. For this meeting, the Newbury Recreation Committee is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the Recreation Committee agenda, which can be found on the Recreation Committee page on the town's website. The agenda identifies how the public may join the meeting. This agenda can also be accessed from the website's homepage by clicking the box that says agendas at the top of the news box. For Zoom meetings, please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that any other folks may be able to see you and that take care not to screen share your computer unless you're requested to do so by me. Anything you broadcast may be captured for the recording. Materials were provided to the board committee meeting members prior to the meeting for the review. In this case, the agenda and the minutes presented by Mark earlier today. We're now turning to the first item agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for the effective and clear conduct. For any discussion items, I, the chair, will go down the line of members, inviting each member to name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called further. Everyone other than board members, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please use earbuds, earphones with tablets and cell phones. Please remember to speak clearly in any way that helps generate accurate minutes. Take care not to screen share. For your response, please wait till your chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Board members will be called upon in first name, alphabetical order to ease the process. If board members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourselves. for items of public comment, the chairman will open the floor for public comment for the particular hearing. If you have a question, please raise your hand function within Zoom, and we'll allow you the opportunity to speak. We start the agenda. All right. Thank you for your patience. I know it's part of the job, but it's listen to me talk is probably not the best thing in the world at times. We've done the call the meeting to order, members present, reading in the previous meeting's minutes. The one that Mark sent was from 2 meetings ago. Did anybody have any questions on the minutes that were presented?
I think so.
Dave, Celine, you guys okay?
Yep.
Do I hear a motion to accept the meetings from the July meeting?
Second.
Do I hear any discussion? All those in favor? Celine,
Yes.
David Brohl,
Yes.
David Dempsey,
Yes.
Mark Sand.
Yes.
Just so you guys know, it looks like this on my screen, so that's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it in order. Any correspondence?
No.
Emails received. I heard-
No, I'm sorry. No bills.
Go ahead. No bills
No
either?
bills.
Okay, that'd be the next thing. So, Joe Colbert, who is the cross-country coach at Triton, or used to be, has asked for some time on the field if they do not continue, but it looks like the MIA is going to allow cross-country to run. So I've asked him for an update if he still needs to use the field, not a field, but a section, of the field so they could stretch out. I told him what the costs were because it is an AAU group, so it would be at $15 an hour. He wanted 3 hours a week. So I told him it'd be $45 a week for whatever you're using. He said that was not a problem, but I just want to confirm the time. We also heard from Seacoast Youth Football. They were looking to grab some time. They were going to join our meeting, but I received an email about a half an hour before our meeting saying that they got space in Salisbury for the fall and would like to revisit time in the spring with us. So I've updated the office. So as of right now, the only thing that we have going on is our 3 groups right now, which is Triton Youth Soccer, Rush, and Sphinx Soccer, who's going to be grabbing one day or one select time, but it doesn't interfere with the times in the schedule. So that is all I've heard regarding any correspondence. I should say one more thing was Beautiful Yoga had used the field 3 times in August and would like to use it again in September. I said, let me know days and times. It shouldn't be a problem. They're not asking for a field. They're actually been using the area where the basketball court will be put in. They're also going to be paying. They're writing the check for the 3 hours they've used. I told them to send it to the town hall. So, anybody else? Okay. Celine, you hit the next section with the bills and claims. We don't have any, so we're all set. So, old business, the basketball court. Davids, I'm going to let you guys talk to us and let us know what's going on.
I got in touch with the Salem. It started with the assistant to the mayor, and they were very good. They sent me to someone with the rec department, and then someone that was into doing the building or setting up the bid. And they sent me a copy, but it seems like they have sent me the copy of a pickleball court. It was a tennis court, unless that was, I don't believe this is the right one, but that's what they sent me, and it was 81 pages long for the bid. So I ended up having a conversation with the rec committee guy, who turned me on to a guy who I contacted today, and I have not got back. He has not got back to me yet. Or he got back to me, but we missed. What he suggested is that there is a gentleman, and for a fee, he said that it could be a couple $1,000s. I know we might have money from Tracy to do, but basically what they do is they're the planner, and so they're out of, I believe, Andover, and I've looked at their website, and they've done a bunch of municipal. They did the Swampscott football field. They've done a ton of work for both municipalities, colleges, and high schools. And what the guy from Salem suggested, that the rec guy said to talk to him, he would come in, he'll give you basically a fee breakdown, and he will sort of set up the design. This is what this guy from Salem said. He sets up the design, gets the bid, and then he follows the construction group, whoever gets the bid, and make sure that they do things per what he has written up. So he's kind of like a construction management or landscape management for athletic fields and things like that. So I should know more. I should have invited him today, but we kept on missing each other. I was in an area where I couldn't answer the phone. So that's the latest and greatest.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it would be nice to have and someone else other than like DPW be in charge. Nothing against DPW, but it would be great to have someone that, if you see, I mean, I think he's did the Swampscott football field. He's done the pipe stave, soccer fields, tower school stuff. So he's done basketball, baseball, football fields, and the website's pretty slick. It's under Huntress Associates, like HUNTRESS Associates.com, and he does sports planning. So I hope to hear back from him tomorrow. And
David, what's the website again? You said Huntress what?
Huntress Associates. HUNTRESS Associates.
And they're out of Andover, you said, right?
I believe so.
All right.
Can I interrupt for a sec?
That's the,
Please.
yeah, go ahead.
So he sounds like it's like an owner's project manager, like what we have the town hired for the police department. Somebody that will
Mhm.
oversee everything.
Yep.
I think that's very good.
Yeah, that's what the
And
guy
if
from,
if you want to talk, I can ask Bob Connors. He's the chair of the police department building committee. He can maybe help you with a little bit of how to do, because that's going to have to go to bid too, I think, getting somebody hired. So he can
Okay.
help you align your ducks in a row. I can ask him, you two to even connect off of, he doesn't have to come to a meeting, just connect with you. And I think he'll be very helpful.
now,
David,
when
how much was it he was talking about?
I think it was just a couple $1,000s.
And Alicia, we would still need to go out to bid on something on that?
Sorry, I was thinking of the whole kit and caboodle.
No,
No, the whole-
we know the whole
$2,000,
piece is gonna
no.
have to be, no.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I
this,
figured we take that out of our money, out of the 50,000 we have, and then
Yeah,
use the
I'm
RP for
thinking
the other.
about how we did it for the police department, and we kind of rolled it all into one price, which may
Yep.
be how this has to go, because you can't, one thing about public bid is you can't break it up into smaller chunks to avoid the public bid process. So Bob can help you with that. He does a lot of them. That's what he does for a living.
yeah, Tracy was saying, and I assume that it's for both of these things, because she said that essentially to get the bid, one, you would pay someone to get it, and then the other option is to steal it from another municipality, which is what I was trying to do. And I hate to say it, it's difficult to be able to get a municipality to call back, because I've placed probably 4 different phone calls that have come unanswered with rec departments and DPWs. So she mentioned that there was some money set aside for planning, both that we could use. And again, I don't know if it was one or the other, that we could use for the basketball court or Kent Way. And I know that you, Celine, might have already some plans for Kent Way. So there is some money set aside for doing that initial, bid write-up.
I do have those plans somewhere. They're hard copy.
Okay.
It is my understanding that if the name is correct, it sounds familiar. That was the organization that put the plans together for Kent Way. So they're familiar with, and the town has used them before.
Okay, okay.
In
Barb,
terms
do
of
you have a
speed-
copy of the Kent Way plans? I thought I gave them to you. Or Mike?
I have a copy, yeah.
Okay.
The other part is, Alicia, what's the name of the department? Commonwealth of Massachusetts puts out a booklet for all the bids. I don't know how long the bids stay online for after they've been granted, but that'd be a
Yeah, I
place
know
to
what you're
look.
talking about, but I don't know the name of it off the top of
Okay.
my head.
Yeah, there could be they could already be online.
I'm looking at their website right now, the Huntress Associates, and they've done some serious work.
Yeah.
I was at the Merrimack Field last year, and they did the football field, the stadium work on that, and pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they do site design, and that you could see they do landscape architecture. So it's kind of like the whole kit and caboodle. And the funny thing is that when I emailed him, and then I also left a voice message, and it was kind of like blah 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 because I was in a hurry and running around like a mad dog. But he knew exactly. He said the Central Street Field, so I think he knows of the project somehow, some way. So
Okay, good.
could they possibly be one of the people bidding on it, or one of the companies bidding on the
No,
project?
no, I think that they're like construction supervisor management.
So
They
more
have more
oversight.
planning
Yeah, planning.
as opposed to construction.
Just wanted to make sure, because if it was, it's something we want to think about a conflict of interest. But if they're not, then I think it's an excellent idea, as everybody's been saying.
No, Salem said that this is what he said that he suggested and that they use constantly, and he said he's a great resource. Is the guy that he basically sets it up, writes your bid, and then once the bid is accepted, oversees the company that gets the bid to make sure they do what's supposed to be on the bid. So then you don't have someone from the rec committee coming down that doesn't really have any teeth, or someone from the DPW that may not know as much as this guy does.
So how do we get this part of this? Because one of the things that I was hoping to get done is get the RFP written and hopefully out to people by October 1st. And then
Well,
I think the normal
I will-
procedure is about 30 to 45 days of waiting for responses.
I should hear back from them tomorrow. And what I will do is, once I get an idea of if this is something that they can do and they're willing to do, and if they've done stuff like this before, I can find out time of that, cost, and then have a conversation with Tracy about it. I don't know if that's the proper way to do it, but that's what
The only problem we're going to run into is if we have to wait for the next meeting to approve the amount. That's the only thing I'm concerned with. So
Now, if the town pays for it, I mean, if Tracy has the money to do that,
Alicia,
My
you're going to have to
understanding
answer
is-
that one. Or
Yeah.
Mark, go ahead.
My understanding in my conversations with Tracy years ago is there's money on a first come, first served basis for all departments and boards to access for planning type purposes. So it doesn't come out of their budget, it all comes out of her umbrella pot. So I would just go through her and let her know what we're doing and let her make the determination. If for some reason, because of the financial considerations that we're currently all undergoing, if that's not available, we figure out what the cost is, and then we have a meeting for 10 minutes to approve it. There's no
I
reason to wait
I
a whole
would make a
month.
motion. I would make a motion tonight to direct the town administrator to engage with the looking into this
Situation.
whatever it is that you
We'll bring it
want
up
them to-
we'll bring it up in a new business, but that at least gives us an idea. So
I would
Dave,
just
so-
make a motion and vote on it, and then at least I would, if you want to tie a number to it, put a not to exceed amount.
that's what I was going to do.
Yeah, and then this way, and then if it goes over that, you'll have to have, like Mark said, an emergency meeting. That's all. For
Which
10
makes sense on that part, Mark. Thank you. So David, you're gonna touch base with him tomorrow. We'll bring up the rest of the stuff when we bring it up on new business, but that gives
Okay.
us an idea there. We go from, so. Next on the list is the online calendar. Mark, did you get a chance to get with,
Yes, been in communication with Susan Noyes. Things, as Celine had said previously, things had slowed down because of other obligations, responsibilities on her part. She should be having more time now in September going forward to work on it. Michael, I did ask for a copy of the calendar that you created to see who's using the fields. Could I have a copy of that, please?
it's chicken scratch on a sheet of paper. I'm gonna have to put it together, so I'll get it done. I've just
Okay.
been kind of, because it's really the three groups and two of them are already talking. And all I did was add Sphinx to the equation, but I will put it together.
Okay.
That's good. Thanks, Mark. The spending and operating plan, I know we've been kind of bouncing this one around because we can't use the field house. Things are still kind of in limbo. I mean, we could certainly talk about ideas and stuff. Mark, you weren't here last month. We didn't want to proceed with that. So I'm almost saying, we had talked about things for the field house, whether money was going to be pulled from the budget for to do Kentway or the planning, as we talked about for this, as well as what the porta potties or the cleaning of the restrooms was going to be, which we know that money alone could take up a big chunk of the money that we have for the year. So it's not that we
So
don't
are we allowed
want
to keep
spend.
are we
Right.
allowed to keep the restrooms closed?
As
Yes.
of right now, yes.
Okay.
We're not
So-
allowed to
And
use
And I may be speaking out of turn because when I had this conversation with Tracy 3 weeks ago or whatever, but I thought, and again, I could be totally wrong in this, but I thought that she said I brought up the whole handicap one, us providing a handicap one, that the town may pay for that, but I'm not sure about that.
I don't remember that part of a conversation. I mean, I knew it was going to be a little bit pricey. And she did say that the DPW would take over the responsibility of cleaning it, but it's still going to be a cost. May not be as much as the other one, but we still need it because they need to clean it a lot more, as Mark had mentioned a couple meetings ago. It would need to be done more regularly.
Yeah, I
So
think
that
they do it.
was a concern.
Dave, I think it was like once or twice a week that the porta
Dave
potty.
jumped off. He's having problems technically getting back on.
Okay. Okay.
From 2 meetings ago, Dave Dempsey indicated that Reds comes in daily to clean all the porta potties down on the island.
Oh, really? Okay.
And there's 6 or 7 of them there. I don't know if the cost would be the same because it's just one in terms of drive time and cleaning and leaving, or if there's a bulk rate, but it was about $75 a day, or $75. I forget those numbers. But the conversation, the email that I had, maybe your conversation with Tracy was more recent, but I had worked with Deb Rogers, the COVID team, basically, to see when and if that could happen. And then Tracy said there's not going to be any bathrooms at all up on the fields. So I don't know if she's changed her mind to that I can look up the date of the
So
conversation.
have we never, I'm sorry, Mark, I don't mean to interrupt, just talking off the top of my head when it comes into it. Have we never even flushed those lines and opened them up for this year?
I don't know what DPW has done. There would be no reason for them to have done it at this time.
Is it something prudent that we should do just once a year to kind of or is it okay the way it is? I'm just asking.
I mean, I may be wrong, but I would assume that they probably have eyes on that. I'm sure that those guys that are cutting the grass use that facility. That would be my guess. Maybe I'm totally wrong in that, but you'd figure
I
that if
can
guys
ask
that
the town administrator if the DPW has taken a look at it.
Yeah,
I
I'd
would
assume
leave
that's
that- I would leave that with them.
Okay.
My understanding is DPW, because of the winter, was checking it regularly just to make sure nothing's cracked or there's any leakage or whatnot, because they were leaving some of the water in the lines. So they would be in on it. Whether they flushed it or not, that's another story.
Because also, we had a pretty mild winter, too.
Alicia, thank you for checking with them on that. That'll be a big help, just to see if we need to do anything there. I did let Tracy know I was by the field house this past weekend, and there was a broken glass pane. One of the windows was broken, so they're going to fix that. Next on the list is Kent. Go ahead.
Just going back to spending, I will call Mello tomorrow for the Wednesday pickup. We're only going to have like
Oh, yeah.
5 pickups with the size of that dumpster. I don't know if we need to do it weekly going forward.
Yeah, it's definitely overflowing. I went by yesterday and it was overflowing. It's talking about spending again. I don't know if this is out of, if I
Are
should be
people
able to-
dumping, I'm sorry, Mark, David, are people
Okay.
just dumping their trash in that?
I think it's still
Well-
locked.
It is locked.
Well, let's back up for a second. There's 2 different issues here. Yes, people are throwing their trash in it because that's what it's for. But household
No, but I mean
trash-
personal trash.
household trash has been limited. The problem is the cover itself is warped, so there is a 8-foot gap that allows bigger boxes and stuff to get in. The second issue, as I noticed the other day, is when they locked it, they didn't lock it the way I would think it should be locked, because you can move the bar down and lift the whole thing up.
Yeah, so,
So was household trash put in there? I wasn't going to take a deep look. I just thought it was close to being full.
I mean, I think given the number of people that are walking their dogs around the perimeter and the amount of usage that's happening on the field, you shouldn't even need to empty that thing every week.
Agreed,
Can
and we
I-
have it.
But
I
it's,
also-
it's overflowing now.
I can throw this one out to Alicia. I drove by on numerous occasions in the past week, and there are people out there running their dogs on the fields themselves. And I know that the head of the DPW does, as he told us before, does not like signs. But what do we have to do? This is a question for you, Alicia. What do we have to do if everyone approves it to put up signs that say no dogs on the playing fields? Does that have something that has to go through the selectmen to, make a, or does it have to go to town meeting, or what has to be done? in
Isn't
order
there
for us-
already a sign there that says no dogs on the field?
No.
What the sign at the
It's in
big
small
sign?
print.
I'm pointing the
Sorry,
screen.
Mark.
Sorry. Mark, go ahead.
Let's go back to the beginning here. The big sign that says guidelines, and that's all it is dogs need to be leashed and not on the field. Town of Newbury has no restrictions of dogs running off leash except on Plum Island, and it's the only other place there's a restriction. There's no leash law in the town of Newbury.
Right.
We know that. Yep.
The
Yep.
only person the people who can enforce dogs running unleashed and out of control would be the animal control officer. What a number of towns do, they'll put signs up. For example, if a dog defecates someplace, that's a different issue than a dog just running. So if they defecate,
And
There
it's
could
not
be
cleaned up.
and it's not cleaned up, it's littering, and there can be consequences for that.
Yeah, but I'm not even going into that. What I think is that we should have signs up, because the what you're talking about, what are supposed to happen on the field and how they're not supposed to happen on the field. I don't think if you pull up and you park in the parking lot, there's any signs that tell you that. And I think people just drive up. They don't stop out in front of the fields and say, oh, here are the list of recommendations or whatever.
No,
So I think people think that it's okay to walk their dogs on the field. And if we could just take and put up some signs along those, where the ropes block off, and say no dogs on fields, and whether that's enforceable or not, it may just keep people from doing that. There were a lot of people that had a lot of dogs on the field. So
So I have a suggestion. Whatever you guys decide that you want to do, I would make a decision tonight, and you want to vote on it, and then ask that it be submitted to the Board of Selectmen and placed on their next agenda, and then they'll discuss it.
New business.
So what do we want to do about the dogs?
New
We wait
business.
for-
We got,
Okay,
wait
new
for new
business.
business.
All right, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
I agree
think
with
I'm
our
back
100%, but it makes, you are. Thanks, Dave.
All right.
Dave's been having some IT issues, so we thank you for your persistence.
Yeah, I had to shut my
Uh,
phone off and wait a while and go back on again.
Got to reboot it. Got to make it work. Anything else in the spending operating plan right now, considering that we're kind of stuck? I'd love to do things and we can start thinking about ideas, but without the field house and knowing what money's coming out of us regarding to porta potties or cleanings or the plannings for both Kentway and the basketball court area, I almost want to sit and say, let's keep thinking of ideas. I'll leave it on the agenda. If we have ideas that pop up, then we can start writing them down or vetting them out.
So I do
Can I make
think
a
that we should,
suggestion? 'Cause-
Celine, start.
no,
Celine,
Mark,
you
go
were
ahead.
first.
Mark, go ahead.
Because we've been doing this for 3 years now, I make a suggestion that for the next non-emergency meeting, regularly scheduled meeting, we come up with a wish list, whether it is items for the field house, recreational equipment, if we want to replace and repair and replace the golf disc stuff, whatever, we come up with a list and we can start whittling it down, because otherwise we're going to be doing this in 5 more years. We're just going to we're going to keep putting it off. There's going to be money in terms of our budget, providing there isn't a significant increase in the irrigation and the DPW maintenance of the grass, because we don't have to have all the bathrooms open in the spring the whole time. If they go back to, if we get into games, which we don't know they're going to do, we're not going to have, we can, let me back up. We don't have to have them open during the fall, and that will save us a significant amount of money.
Okay.
But we should
I'm
be
sorry,
planning this
Mark,
stuff out.
I got a text from work, so I was distracted. But so was the beginning part of your comment was that we should come up with initial list of things that we want
Yes.
to have for the field in case we, hit March, April, May, and we see we have a little surplus.
Even,
Yes.
even before.
Okay, okay.
Just so that
That was what I was going to say too. So we're on the same page.
by October, we should have our wish list. We should be ready to roll, because if there's new equipment, for example, replace the bridge on the lower part of the trails behind Mantor Field. Well, we could encumber that money, get the approval from Conservation Commission, approval from the Board of Selectmen, and be ready to roll. If we can't do it because we don't have the funds, well, we can't do it. But the paperwork is in, the I's have been dotted, T's have been crossed, time to roll.
Okay. Kent Way. David, did you have feedback from Tracy on that as well?
Yes, and she said that, again, that they do have money to come up with some kind of site plan, but if we already have
Ideas.
a plan written up, and she said that she thought that someone had it, she thought that maybe Celine had it, that we could look at that and then use that as our start.
That plan had 2 baseball courts. That's where the basketball court was originally scheduled for, and parking in a small area for, I think, a concession.
Pretty dated.
Did you say baseball courts? Do you mean basketball courts or baseball fields?
2 baseball fields,
Fields
and
and
a basketball
that's all I wanna make sure.
basketball,
and parking.
So
I think the thing with that is, yeah, I understand the fact that they need a plan, but I think clearing it would be great.
yeah,
An IT issue, sorry.
I was wondering what was going on there.
Something just fell and I hit the wrong thing, okay? It happens. Go ahead. What were you saying? Sorry, I apologize. Something fell.
I think that from my point of view, if we had those plans and we are able to just use the plans to say, here's if those plans have been approved and we have a road access that has been cleared out by DPW, and then
Yeah.
like Celine said, we clear everything out and then have an area for parking. We do plan B, which I sort of suggested to her, is to have a field, and then we can decide whether we want to do tennis, baseball, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, or whatever, use those fields for whatever, but at least we can alleviate the parking situation in the library.
And Lunch Street. Alicia, how feasible and practical it is? I know many communities do this. If we came up with, for example, 4 or 5 plans and put it to the town to vote. For example, one plan might be a baseball field, enough for like a U15 upper level Babe Ruth maybe, parking, and a community garden. Another one might include a dog run, which would alleviate asking people not to go to Mantor, because we'd have a dog park and 2 baseball fields, that we provide the community with options and let them decide what the current needs are.
So,
As opposed for us just saying, here's what we're going to do because it's what we want.
so go ahead, Alicia, but I have a response to that as well.
No, you go first, Celine.
So I agree we should poll the community and ask them what they want, but I don't think we should give them voting options at the end on 5 different things when they're not as, not that they're not as involved, but they don't know what we're,
Capability, feasibility of what can be
yeah,
done.
exactly. The highest and best use. Actually, we're the ones that are going to know what the highest and best uses of the property. We should definitely poll the community as to what things they'd like to see. And we may or may not be able to fulfill those obligations, but I don't think we should give them access at a town meeting for a full-on vote on.
I don't recommend doing that at all, not putting up 5 different plans, because you'll have 5 different reasons why everybody should, you do one thing. I think you should do like something through SurveyMonkey or Microsoft Forms, put together a questionnaire. And then I know with forms, because we've just done that, and I know the town just upgraded to Microsoft Office. So they'll have that, they should have that capability. It gives you analytics. So if you come up with a nice questions, you come up with your questions, you can see in a graph mode what the responses are.
Okay,
And
cool.
It tracks your metrics. I would recommend doing it that way. And
Okay.
then you have to decide on how you want to get that out. The town may have an email. I'd have to do some research on this to figure out how the town may have emailed addresses, because they must, because if you sign up for your agendas and stuff, you get those. So they could push maybe a questionnaire out. We could advertise it a little bit, put it on our town's Facebook page, push it through social media, push it through the library. That kind of stuff. And I would give a good 6 to 8 weeks to get responses back.
What's our timeline with that? And can we use the same guy that Dave was talking about for the basketball court?
So let me ask you a question. Is there a available to us?
Hello,
Okay.
Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
Hello?
Yep.
Is there a present plan that, even though it's outdated, that we could still use that as the basis to start and break it
Yes.
down into two
Yes.
2 segments? So at least I think that once it's cleared and we have an open field and we have a space, then I think the survey can take place at that point in time. Because I think if we have the availability now and we have the funds now to move on the.
He's referring to clearing the area, and then we can decide at that point where we want to go.
Yeah, I think we're
Which
all
is-
on the same
which-
page
the
with
field
that.
open,
That's kind of what I was
that would
saying.
probably. Yeah, instead of waiting and holding off on everything.
We got it, Dave. That's exactly where we already were when you were kind of in between your IT stuff.
Is he freezing or
He's freezing.
He's
Okay.
freezing.
sometimes it's my computer?
Okay,
so-
all right. I'm still going in and out.
No, but Dave, if you can hear me, we're doing exactly what you were gonna say. That's the path. It started
Okay,
off that
all
way,
right.
so we're in good shape. We want to
Okay,
use the
all right.
existing plan to get started, to give them an idea so we can get the plan out there, to clear the way and then decide. And then we'll get to the point, we do the survey and find out what pieces and get the biggest bang for our buck
So
that people
I
want.
believe Tracy has a copy of that plan as well. I'm
I
not
don't
the
know.
only one holding the ducks over here.
So,
So,
Mark,
but are you thinking about using that, whatever plan you have, as just the guidelines for like the perimeter of the area? And
Yeah.
not what's gonna happen in the, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, they've
ideas-
already done the site work. Sorry, Dave. They've already done the site work to determine what could be done back then as far as clearing. They probably took into account the most that they could do. So I don't think that's a bad springboard to work off of. And then, I mean, it's going to take years. So let's just start with clearing the land, gaining access, creating parking, and then figuring it out.
Yep.
Anybody have, Mark, any thoughts to that?
No,
No, you're right. Mike.
Mark, you're
plan.
familiar. Mark, you're familiar with this because you went back to that when they first came up with it, correct?
I've been involved, yes.
Okay. So is that something that you would want to look at the site? I remember once, I think it was Michael and I went to look at the site, or maybe it was just Mark and I. Is that something you want to walk off beforehand or try to walk off, or you just want to say, here's the plans, give it, vote on it tonight and then give it to Tracy and say, can you get DPW to clear out? What's the route that we have to do to have this happen?
I think we vote on it in new business.
Awesome.
So just so you know, the DPW has quite a long list of what they're trying to accomplish.
No.
So it'll go in there. It'll go in their thing. I can't guarantee when they'll get to it.
We know.
We're still they're on road paving now. They're gonna pick away at the bathrooms on Plum Island a little bit here and there, and then this will come too.
That's okay. I trust James. He'll pull it out of his hat.
Oh, he will. He will.
Alicia, the idea from a conversation I had years ago with DPW, the idea is once the asphalt plants are closed, the beaches are closed, and it's not plowing season, there is time for them to do this type of project.
Okay.
They're not cutting grass anymore. They're looking for quality things to do. This would be
To
one.
benefit the town.
It may cost us the expense of renting a chipper or something like that, but it's short money to get it mostly cleared out, not necessarily around the complete edges, so that we can look at buffers for the two abutting residents. But if we can get the access to get partly in there, because they could actually work on.
And it hasn't gone through Concom yet, right?
We have not put it through ComCon. It had gone through the Conservation Commission before. The permit has expired. We would
So
have,
that's where
again,
you start. You can't clear it until it goes through Concom.
I understand that, but if we don't, we can't go to ComCon unless we vote that we're going to be doing something with it,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, but you can't clear anything until Concom
Right.
says.
Has it been back?
Yep.
Has anybody been back there? Like,
No.
what does it look like? I've never been there.
It's wooded. Go, Dave.
Yeah, it's thicket. I tried to go into it at one point. Mark and I we knocked on the front door one time and they wouldn't let us in. There's just a lot of growth that has spurred it up. I guess at one point it was clear, right? It was a field.
At one
it is-
point, it was a field, and it had been maintained for a long period of time, and then they just stopped maintaining it. And now you have what were saplings that could come down with a hogger are going to need to be sawed with used a chainsaw and chipped.
All right. Well, let's start
business.
with the vote and then the plan.
Well,
What's-
not yet.
That's not a new.
Not-
That's
We gotta, we got one more thing to get through, and then we'll go into new business and we'll discuss it and get through there, okay?
Awesome.
Last thing I have on here is the latest health update, which in this situation, as we've already talked about, we can't use the field house. We've got to use the porta potties if we're going to do. As of right now, I have not heard anything. David Dempsey, if you're the resident MIAA person, are they going to be playing soccer in the fall? I've heard 7-on-7s, or is that field hockey?
You're muted.
You're muted.
We can't hear you.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you, we
Okay.
can't see you.
As of,
But that's
as of
okay.
as of right now, the MIAA is going to let the soccer move forward. They're going to start with limited practices, and then they're going to the leagues are going to have to come up with some type of a limited schedule, and then they're going to move into that. They're classifying, it's the same as cross country and a few of the minimal contact sports that they're going to let move forward. Soccer is one of them. So how that goes as far as the individual schools, now that most of them have gone remote, that might change.
So as of right now, we just got to figure out the bathroom situation regarding to if we want the groups to pay for their own, if we're going to pay for it, or if the town will pay for it, as David Brohl said earlier. Talking to Tracy, maybe that the town would pay for handicaps. We had one there.
Right.
And there's the use of it, and then there's the fee to clean it. I don't know if we split, they pay for the use and we pay for the clean, or whatever.
Yeah, we should find out about that, because or go back to Plan B and just require the 2 or 3 groups that are using it to provide their own one each bathroom. But
Go through the health agent for that, whatever she recommends.
Well,
Go ahead, Mark.
I think we need, if Tracy says it's okay, when I've talked to Deb, the Board of Health, she was sort of deferring to Tracy.
Okay.
So we have to say if we can have it first and foremost. Because from my conversations, the bathrooms were not really a viable option.
In the field house, you mean?
In
Or are
the
you
field
talking at
house.
all? Okay.
Because
Yeah,
you couldn't maintain the social distancing
No.
requirement where a single porta potty would be suffice.
Yeah.
And the cleaning, as long as we clean it, as long as it's cleaned regularly, there's no statute, no requirement that it needs to be cleaned every 4 hours or 10 hours or every day. For the benefit and peace of mind for our constituents and users, like Plum Island, it's done once a day.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's something that a DPW would do first thing in the morning, or when they would schedule it, if they were to do it. But I think it's something that we sort of asked when we made, that we have made a commitment to having a handicap porta potty there, that we provide the money to do that. And the cleaning, I don't know. I've never got a response back from Tracy. I don't know if she's gotten a response back from higher up the chain about reimbursement for COVID expenses.
She's making a list. She's got a pile. Everything will go to the state.
Okay, so would that cleaning be included in that?
Oh, I'm sure, but we're gonna have to pay for it out of pocket. And if
Right.
you
You get
guys
reimbursed.
decide to have that right and get reimbursed, so if you decide to have that cleaned, and I don't know what your thoughts were, but if you're gonna do it daily, every day, that's gonna be that's gonna eat up a good chunk of your budget. You'll be
It's
spending
not
like
going to be
half
bad.
of it
It's
on
not going to be
cleaning.
bad as the other company. So where DPW does it. That's the thing. It's David. Can you check with Tracy about? Can we
I'm
have
not
it?
sure if the DPW is gonna do that. I don't think they're gonna clean the bathroom.
Well, she can at
she
least tell
said
us
that-
yes or no.
Yeah, I thought that she said that the DPW, when the bathrooms were up and going, they would be in charge of cleaning the bathroom. That's what I heard.
In
Well, I
charge,
don't
but
think
that
they're
doesn't
gonna
mean
do
they're
it
cleaning
during
it.
COVID. I'm
No,
sorry.
well, not during
but-
COVID. No,
Whoa, whoa,
I'm just saying
hold
in
every-
general.
David, go ahead.
I think what I heard, and maybe again, it changes a lot, but what I heard out of COVID, when we get things up and running, the bathrooms would be maintained by DPW instead of the cleaning service we had before.
But I
So
think,
this is,
aren't we
this,
now?
we're
aren't
not,
we
we're
now-
talking porta potties. No,
Yes, that's what
that'll
I'm
be
saying.
us.
I think,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think now
I
we're
don't-
talking porta potties, and I don't think the DPW has the equipment to clean them and drain them and change the solution and do all that stuff. That's why over on Plum Island, now Red's porta potties now has bought out the former company, and they're the ones that come over here and do it every day over here.
now what do? Do they just spray them, or do
No,
they actually empty them?
No, they empty them, change the solution, spray them on the inside, replace the hand sanitizers that are in there, and actually fog them before they leave.
Every day?
Every day they come.
Could be.
Yep, they're in Newburyport and then down in the center of Plum Island.
Well, we
Someone
should
wanna-
probably
Go ahead, Dave. No, go ahead.
we should probably find out if from Tracy whether that is something that the town would pay for as a single handicapped toilet, and if not, whether we should put that on to our users.
We're gonna find it. We're gonna find the expenses first.
Right.
That's kind of hard. It's not the user's fault that we can't open the bathrooms.
Right. I don't recommend putting it on the users. Mike, can you, as the chair, can you send a note to Tracy and ask her what the
Yep.
options are for the bathroom? And she'll probably ask you what you were thinking. How often did you want them to open? If it's going to be every day, I know it's not going to be cheap.
No, and we've had this conversation, but that was about the bathrooms under the other situation. Now we gotta find out.
If we're talking about the bathrooms,
We're talking
don't
porta
need to
potties
be-
only.
okay, that's,
Yeah, porta potties.
Yeah,
We're not
that's
even
what
talking
we
about
do.
bathrooms till the spring at this point, the way we,
It's unfortunate
Right.
that we can't open the bathrooms, but it's much more expensive than doing the porta potty route.
Well, not only that, you'd have to put up like,
And
the social
sanitary.
distancing. You can't,
Yeah,
you can't have people in, more than one person in there. You just can't, they just cannot be open, I don't think.
Yeah.
Without spending money on plexiglass and, everything else to keep people separate.
Yeah, you'd have to have
Yeah.
probably somebody would have to be there monitoring them and,
Yep.
enforcing it and making sure that's being done. That's why I think, even over here down in Newburyport, they haven't opened their bathrooms there. They have the porta potties there, and they said that's the way they're going.
all right, so I'll email Tracy and get everybody a response back. I'll
And I
copy the whole
think one
group so we have it.
handicap, I think like you're thinking, one handicap
Yep,
stall is
Yep.
That's it.
enough.
okay. I'll get the email out to her.
Thanks.
New business. I started off talking about the communication I had with Joe Colbert regarding the cross-country AAU, but I have not heard back yet. All they're looking for as of right now is 3 hours a week on a Tuesday, Thursday in the afternoon. If they are not going to be running for the school, for an area just to stretch out, like out by the parking lot or like where the basketball court is right now. So they were fine with the charge, which was $45 a week, if they still need it. So the motion right now is to allow that group the use of either area, off the parking lot or up where the basketball court's going to be, for stretching and pre-event exercise for September through November. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
a couple questions. If they're not actually using a field and they're just using the area down by the tree, the area in front of the sledding, do we really need to charge them?
Don't we charge
Because
the
the
yoga
if
group?
they had just gone to use it,
Yoga took it. It's
yoga,
a for-profit group.
okay,
And I made it clear because I said, Joe, if this has anything to do with the school, let me know. And he goes, no, this is an AAU program. So I did the same thing with the yoga program, and they're paying us It's small money for what they're looking at.
I think our fees are super reasonable.
Okay.
That's why. And Joe, I mean, I asked Joe point blank and he said, we don't have a problem with this fee. So, and I can send you the email if you need to see it.
And
Any
he'll
other
he'll fill out the form like everybody else.
We will, as soon as I get confirmation of what it is, yes. That's the only way we'll be able to get done. But he presented it, wanted to know, and then I saw the update from MIA, and I was like, and that's why I emailed him just to see if he still needs it. This may not even start, it may not need to, but he wanted to know if it was an option, so I'm bringing it to the committee. So any other discussion on this?
Nope.
All those in favor of Dave, do you have something?
Nope.
David Brohl? Okay.
Nope.
All those in favor of allowing the AAU cross-country program to use a field at $15 an hour, which works out to about 3 hours a week for September, October, November, say aye. And Celine, I'll start with you.
Aye.
David Brohl,
Aye.
David Dempsey,
Aye.
Mark Sand.
Aye.
Okay. I will let Joe know if he still needs it. We'll let him use the field. He's going to have to provide an application, the Corey, as long as anybody's under the age of 18 and an insurance form. I had the Seacoast football, but where they've already said they're going to push off to the fall. We're not going to need to talk about that. And then the two things we were talking about, do we want to, I'd like to make a motion to allocate no more than, say, $3,000 for this Huntress Associates to help us plan the RFP and the supervision of the basketball program if the town will not pay for it. Do I hear a
Second.
second? Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? I threw $3,000 out as a number. We can certainly go 2, 5, 4, whatever you think is justified.
Yeah.
What, Mark?
No, I'm not sure about the number.
Yeah, I'm
I
not.
didn't want to go too. I didn't want to go too high, but I also want to make sure.
We can always revote. We can always revote, revisit.
Because I mean, if he comes in and says it's $10,000, then we're kind of wondering. We also have to debate what we're going to get out of the thing with Tracy. I thought 3 was a safe number,
Okay.
and that's what based on what David had said. So if he comes in and says, "Yeah, I'll do it from here," and Tracy says, "Yeah, it's got to come out of your budget," then we know we have a number approved. If she
Okay.
comes and says it's approved and she's going to handle it, then we don't need to worry about it. Or if it has to be lumped into the RFP, then we can handle it accordingly. At least gives us a way to go.
Then can we
Any-
amend the motion to say we're going to ask the town administrator to use her resources to pay for this consultant planner
Mhm.
if the town is unable to provide the funds for such, then it would come from our budget, and we will spend an amount not to exceed, as you said, Michael, $3,000. This way we're
Sounds
voting to
perfect.
move forward
Okay.
with it.
All right, so now we are voting on the amendment. So any discussion? I think he's right. I should have added it in the beginning.
Yep.
but-
Second.
All right, all in favor, Celine,
Aye.
David Brohl?
Aye.
David Dempsey,
Aye.
Mark Sant?
Aye.
All right, so that is now the motion. So we will go through the town first to see if they're able to help it and take care of it on their budget. If not, we'll approve up to $3,000. Anything further is got to come back to committee.
Okay.
That's the motion. So, any discussion? All those in favor, Celine?
We just voted, didn't we? Aye.
No, we voted on
this-
the
that-
amendment.
Okay,
This is now the
sorry.
motion.
Aye.
David Brohl?
Aye.
David Dempsey?
Aye.
Mark Sant?
Aye.
All right, so David Brohl, would you please reach out to Tracy and see what we can figure out, knowing that you got $3,000 if we ever use it.
Okay.
Hopefully we don't have to, and the town can apply it, certainly make things easier. But we know we have that amount. If it comes back more from the guy, then once you find out what it's gonna cost us, we'll go from there.
All right.
Okay, all right. The other thing was Kent Way. We want to, I'm trying to think of how we want to word this because I got the last one mixed up. We wanted to approach the town hall, the town administrator, to see if they'll allow us to use the existing current plan that we have to investigate and do some analysis planning for Kent Way.
Is it town hall or do we have to go somewhere else, Alicia? What do we have to do?
We have to go through the Conservation Commission before we do any site work.
Yep.
So what's the first step before that?
My
I think the
suggestion is
very
Going to
first-
Concom?
One
I
at a time,
think-
guys.
I think your very first step is to get on paper what you want. If you want to clear it before you get it on paper and you have, you know, preliminary plans with that, you're going to have to go through Concom. But Tracy can guide you with that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
first step is,
Somebody, you should appoint somebody to be a point person on this and work with her, and she'll tell you how to get what you want to get done.
Okay.
That's
Who
my
wants to
recommendation.
who wants
Sorry,
to
guys,
volunteer?
not taking that on.
I've already done the other thing with the scheduling. I'm
I
already
know,
buried.
I know, we're tapped out.
And David
Alicia-
Grohl is doing the, he's
Basketball
doing the
court.
basketball court. And Dave Dempsey, you're kind of busy right now on the island. Mark, do you want to do it with her, and do you want me to help you?
do I
or-
want, will she talk to me? Sure,
Yeah, why
I'll
don't
do
you
it.
shake?
She talks to me, so she must talk to anybody.
He'll talk to you.
Really?
All right.
All right.
Sorry,
So
guys,
let's-
I wish I could be more involved, but I just can't right now. Just
Yeah.
tapped out.
And David Bro, if you want to hook up with me, if you're going to talk to that gentleman, maybe we can do that together regarding the courts too.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll find out tomorrow.
So you're not hanging out there alone on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I'll
then
find
if
out
you
tomorrow.
guys want to meet with, you know Bob Connors, Dave?
Yes, yes. I
All
don't
right.
know him.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah, so if you want, I'll send a note, I'll send an email, and if you're going to do a quick phone call with him, because he just did all of this for the police station.
Okay.
He can guide you.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Mark,
All
and then you and I will
Yeah, he
work
likes
with you.
he likes that meatball sandwich.
Yeah, and then Mark, if you and I need help with working with Tracy on that, I can help you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So we
Good
know our,
work tonight,
we know-
guys.
our kind of our marching orders going forward. So, I got 7:05. Anybody else want to add anything to the list? The
Oh, do
hardest
we-
part of this is, go ahead, Dave.
Do we want to talk at all about the dogs or just let the dogs roam until another
You're right.
time?
No, it should be discussed. I don't know how we're gonna be able to do this, but it's a question of the town. But make a motion to have signs put up at the field saying the dogs are not allowed on the playing fields.
That has to go to the Board of Selectmen for any type of,
We have to
I would
recommend,
think
we have to
that we
approve it
should-
on ours. She said we had to approve it to us, then we
Yeah.
have to get it on there to get it.
Make
Yep.
a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen.
Select
Well,
board.
make a recommendation. That's true. Make a recommendation. You know what? Rather than just before you go before the select board, I would run it by the town administrator. And then if she feels as if it needs to go before the board, then it can. But what you need to decide is what you want to happen first. That's what you as a group needs to decide.
I can, tomorrow I should hear from that gentleman about the possibility of coming up with a plan. And preliminary, I could get in contact with Tracy and ask for 2 minutes of her time to discuss both those issues. One, find out what the plan would be to at least put up signs and how that process would happen, and then approach her about that group and find out if that's the right direction we should be going. So I could do that
Perfect.
tomorrow or on Wednesday. All right.
Perfect.
Okay.
If that's good with everyone.
That's very good. Thank you, David. Appreciate your help. The only thing we have to do now is figure our next meeting. We want to keep them on Mondays. We're off a little bit because next Monday's Labor Day. If we go to the first Monday, if we go all the way to October 5th, And I don't know if we want, I mean, that's scheduled. If we need to have an emergency meeting, we certainly can. But if not, does anybody want to try to meet on either the 21st or the 28th? I'd like to keep it, get us back on schedule if we can, but if we think we need to meet sooner.
Well, you're so close to September, tomorrow being September 1st. Do you need to meet again in September, or do you think we all have enough homework and action items to get you through the first Monday in October?
The only thing I'm concerned about is the RFP stuff getting delayed and where we can't even get that thing out yet.
So I'm not available the 5th.
All right, well then the
But-
21st or the 28th?
But do you
Around the
need to
20th.
meet? Do you need to meet to get that RFP stuff done? Do you need to meet as a group, or can you just somebody else do that?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Alicia. If I did, I'd be more than, if we don't need to meet, I am fine, but at the same point, I need to figure out how we're gonna work this out. So I almost want to say, can we do the 28th? Since we already lost.
I think we should
Celine.
schedule it and postpone it rather than not schedule it and
Which
wish
one?
we
You
had
talking
it. Is
the
that right?
28th?
Yeah.
All right, so everybody's thoughts on September 28th. It's 4 weeks
Fine.
from today.
And then you'll
Mark,
have another
Dave?
one on October 5th?
No,
Perfect.
we'll see how the 28th will kind of take over because Celine is out on the 5th. We lose that day.
Ah, I see. Okay.
And I don't know about anybody else at that point yet. The weekend after that is Columbus Day, and yeah, that ain't happening either.
We can't go that far out. We need to have
No.
more, I'd rather have more regular, shorter meetings than
Yep.
longer
Right.
meetings because we
It's-
missed
yeah.
a lot of time.
It's
It's
a lot
almost every
easier. It's a
almost
lot
every 3
easier.
weeks.
I think it's a lot easier with these video conference and, spending time to do that rather than shooting down there. And this seems a lot easier. I don't know if you're feeling the same way, but that's what my thought is.
Other than my intro that I have to read, I like these a lot better.
Yep.
I hate wasting your time, but I understand I have to read it. So why don't we look at the 28th? It's actually 4 weeks from today. It gets us in there. Mark, are you okay? Do you have anything scheduled you know of?
Not that I'm aware of at this time.
Dave Dempsey?
No, I'm good. I just checked my calendar. I'm good.
I've been trying to keep the Mondays and Tuesdays. You said those are your better days, so that's why I was trying to
Yeah.
focus on that. All right, then why don't we plan this? The next meeting will be Monday, September 28th from 6 to 7:30 again. Celine, do you need an email for the Zoom stuff, or are you good with that?
Send me an email.
Add it to my to-do
Yeah, I do
list.
too. Yeah.
Just make sure you post it.
We do.
I
Yeah.
get it posted right away, but I have to wait for the Zoom so I can add it. I can reserve the time, but I need the Zoom so I can post it up there.
If you text me that this week, I'll put it up.
Yes. All right.
I have to run my work Zoom meetings too, so I'm like, right.
I have 4 tomorrow, so don't even go there for work.
Awful.
I love this stuff. One, thank you all. This has been a very productive, good meeting. We got a lot of stuff out of this, so keep plugging away and let's see if we can get some headway towards the basketball, headway towards the Kent Way. That would be a huge, and then let's see what else we can do and just keep going along. I mean, they can't say we're not trying. That's the one thing that no one can say. All
Yep.
right?
Yeah. You
I-
guys
I
did great.
like Mark's idea too about starting to put a list together as well. So
Yeah.
things
Well-
that anybody thinks of, we can maybe start building it.
You
Sounds
all can do
great.
it. Let's everybody
Yep.
put together 1 or 2 things for the meeting on the 28th. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
All right. I make a motion to adjourn at 7:12 p.m. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Do I hear any discussion? I'm hearing chirping in the background. All those in favor? Celine?
Hi.
David Brohl?
Aye.
David Dempsey?
Aye.
Mark Sand?
Aye.
Thank you all very much. Let's have a good night, and we'll see you in 4 weeks.
Have a
Good
good
night,
safe
everyone.
Labor Day
Thank
weekend.
you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.